Okay, so today I'm going to be telling you all about the best supplement that you can take. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk about what supplement am I actually talking about, and it's creatine. So what is creatine actually? So creatine is a naturally occurring substance, so it's already in a lot of the foods we eat. So now you may be wondering, well then why the hell am I supplementing it if I can just get it through foods naturally? That's because the amount of these foods you'd have to eat just to equal the daily dosage of creatine that is desirable is practically impossible. Like you'd be eating thousands upon thousands of calories just to get your creatine intake in specifically. So that's why we supplement it. So now that I've talked about that, you're going to want to be taking creatine monohydrate specifically. That is the best form of creatine that will allow you to achieve the goals you want. And also, I did just want to say, creatine is the most studied supplement out there. So there's been thousands of studies on creatine. So it is definitely a safe supplement, because I know that's a lot of people's like fear with creatine or just taking any supplement is it actually safe? So creatine is one of the most studied, if not the most studied. I believe it is the most studied supplement that is out there. So what does creatine actually do? So creatine increases intramuscular water retention. So what does that mean? It basically means the water retention in your muscles, like in your bicep and all your muscles, right? It's going to increase the amount of water retention that each of those muscles does and has. So why do we want this? What does that actually do? So one thing is, if you think about it, if you just added more water to your muscles and they retain more water, what's likely going to happen? It's going to increase in size because there's more stuff there. If you just think about it like stuff, if you add more stuff to something, it's going to get bigger. That's just how it works. So one, you're going to increase muscle size. When you increase muscle size, what does that also help with? Muscle strength and muscle endurance. So all of those are going to be benefits you receive from creatine. Additionally, creatine also has some cognitive benefits that I don't know too much about, but I know it will definitely help you with just like thinking in general. It'll help you, and it has those cognitive benefits. One thing I did want to mention is, obviously I just said that creatine increases muscle water retention, right? So that means your body is going to be retaining more of the water that you consume. What this now means is you need to be careful to make sure you don't get dehydrated, because now there's a portion of the water you're consuming that's going to be staying in your muscles and not being used by your body elsewhere. So because of this, when you're taking creatine, you definitely need to increase the amount of water you're consuming unless you're already consuming enough. Now you're probably wondering, how much water do I need to be consuming? Most people would say you need to consume about a gallon of water a day while taking creatine. So that's like 128 ounces I believe that's the exact number of ounces. So you just want to make sure you're having at least a solid amount of water every day. I would definitely recommend having that gallon. I typically have somewhere around there, if not more, every day. I just also drink a lot of water. But if you're not drinking that much water, I would honestly work on drinking more water first before you start taking that creatine, because you don't want to get dehydrated, because then you can put yourself in a dangerous situation. Okay, so that's basically what creatine is. Okay, so the next thing I want to go over is some fears that people might have that might stop them from taking creatine, and I just want to address them to kind of like make you rest assured like all of your fears. So the first one is, a lot of people are worried about bloating. They just don't want to be bloated all the time because they hear water retention, which typically is associated with bloating in a sense, right? But this is water retention in your muscles, because bloating obviously is in your stomach area. Yes, you have muscles there, but that's just one of the muscles in your body. That's not where all of the water retention is going to be. So bloating isn't really something you have to worry about when taking creatine. The next one is, there was one study that came out where a few of the participants had hair loss, right? So a lot of people, I would at this point almost call it just a myth that creatine can cause hair loss. Obviously, disclaimer, any supplement or anything in general that you take in your body, you can have adverse effects to it. So obviously check with your doctor before you take anything. I'm just expressing information that I've learned, not telling you to take anything. But a lot of people are worried about that hair loss thing because that was in one study, so people have a fear about it, understandably, I guess, right? But as I said, this is the most studied supplement that there is. There have been hundreds, if not thousands of studies on creatine. I believe it's in the thousands. I don't remember the exact number. But it was one study where that happened, and that result has never been reproduced. And if you know anything about science, where how they actually validate a result, it has to be reproducible for it to be considered valid. So according to science, that was not a reproducible result. The hair loss thing, that was not reproducible in any of the other experiments. So what they would say is that's not then statistically significant. It might have just been a few participants, or I believe it might have even been one. I'm not too sure on that though. Do not quote me on that one. But it was not reproducible. So it might have just been those few participants or one participant having that adverse effect. Okay, and the last thing is, if you're someone who's younger and you're gonna have to try and convince your parents to buy this for you or just give you the okay to take something like this, you can just show them the research. And a lot of times parents might be afraid because they just see some white powder, and what's the white powder that they're going to reference? Probably cocaine, which is not good, and we do not condone that. You should never be taking drugs like that. But you can show them that, well, you can buy this on Amazon, you can buy this in so many different places. It is fully legal, there are thousands of studies on it, and it is safe and effective. So you can just try and ease them through that. You could also show them this video, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, those are a lot of the fears that people had, so I just wanted to address those quickly. Okay, so the next thing I want to go over is, so I've just told you what creatine is, how it works, and I've gone over like a lot of the fears that people might have and misconceptions about creatine to hopefully rest assured those fears. But now you're probably wondering, how do I actually take creatine? So creatine, it's just a little scoop. It's a white powder, like I said earlier. So you're just gonna take one scoop. You can put it in pretty much anything. So a lot of people just mix it with water, just mix it together, drink it, pretty simple. I mix it with my pre-workout because then it reminds me to take it, because I can't lie. On days I don't work out, I a lot of the times do forget to take my creatine. So I just mix it with my pre-workout. If you have something else that you religiously drink daily, you could mix it in with that and just make it easier for yourself. So yeah, you're just gonna mix it in. It's pretty much tasteless. Like if you just mix it with water, the water is gonna look slightly different. You might see like a little bit of cloudiness in the water, but you really don't taste it. So it's pretty tasteless. You can add it to pretty much anything. One other thing I want to address about taking it is a typical serving of creatine that you take like every day, daily, is 5 grams. During a loading phase though, which some people will recommend, is for that loading phase for let's say like a week or two, you're gonna do 20 grams of creatine daily, and that'll help like saturate your body faster. Now, you definitely can do this if you want to, but personally, I don't really see the point, because let's say if you did a loading phase for 2 weeks, right? Your body's gonna be saturated at the end of 2 weeks, but if you just wait like a third or a fourth week, your body's going to be fully saturated anyway. So you can do it. It's gonna make it be a little faster, but the way I looked at it was, if you're doing 20 grams a day compared to 5 grams a day, you're using up 4 times as much creatine. Like, that's going to end up being not crazy costly, because creatine isn't that costly, but I just didn't really see the point. I was like, I'll just wait an extra week or two and save some money. Might as well. But if you want to do a loading phase, by all means, go for it. It's your life, your creatine, so go for it. Okay, and for the last part of this video, I just kind of want to talk about my thoughts about creatine and give you guys like my opinion on it. So I personally am under the opinion that I think everyone should take creatine. I don't really see any downsides to it, because obviously we talked about the muscular benefits, so it's going to increase size, strength, and endurance. So all of those are benefits. Like, there isn't really a reason. I can't imagine a reason where you would want a slight increase, because it's not like your muscles are going to quadruple in size. It's a slight increase in all of those things. So I personally think that everyone should take it. And even if you don't want the physical benefits like that, as I said, there's also the cognitive benefits. So personally, I don't really see a reason that you shouldn't be taking creatine. In addition, creatine is a extremely cheap supplement. It's probably one of the cheapest supplements out there. So I don't know. I know if you go to BuckedUp site, which I'm an ambassador for, so you can also use my discount code. The link is in the description to get your creatine cheaper. I believe the BuckedUp creatine is like it's like 22, 25 bucks, something like that. Nothing crazy. If you use my discount code though, you'll get 15% off. So that would end up being like something like $3-4 off. So if it's 25, you get it for 21. If it's 22, you get it for like 19 or something. So that's pretty cheap. And obviously that's for, I believe it's like 50 or 100 servings. So that'll get you through 50 or 100 days. So you only need one serving a day unless you're doing that loading phase. So it's a cheap, effective, and safe supplement. As I said, I personally think unless you have a reason not to be taking creatine, if you have an adverse reaction to it, or you can't due to something else you're taking, or you just talked with your doctor and it's not right for you. But outside of that, I really don't see a reason you shouldn't take creatine. I think it is just such a great supplement. I've been taking it for probably like a year and a half, maybe 2 years now, something like that. Honestly, I don't even know. It's just like a part of my daily routine. Obviously I said I forget sometimes, but that's a good thing with creatine, where if you skip one day, it's not the end of the world. Your body's not going to unsaturate in a day. You can give it. It's going to take a couple days where your body starts to like unsaturate like that. But I definitely, as I said, I think everyone should take it. But the one other thing I just want to reiterate it. I know I said it earlier. You need to make sure you're drinking the requisite amount of water when taking creatine, because getting extremely dehydrated is not good. You can get hospitalized for that. So just please make sure you're drinking the right amount of creatine. The right amount of water while taking your creatine. So I hope you learned something today. I hope you are willing to think about trying creatine and take the right precautions beforehand. And obviously, as I said, talk to your doctor. I'm not your doctor. I'm just expressing information to you. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I will catch y'all next Sunday at 5 p.m. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next Sunday. Catch you there.